And today I am showing you a card that I made. It's actually a pretty quick one today, although most of mine probably are. But I'm showing you a card that I made today with the Enjoy the Moment stamp set, and it's a birthday card. And I mean, it definitely could be for either a man or a woman, but I know if you're like me, you struggle kind of a bit with making birthday cards for the men in your life. And so I was trying, my dad's birthday is actually coming up, so I was trying to come up with a birthday card for him. So this is my new plan for the birthday card. So this is what we're making today. Again, it's pretty simple, just a couple die cuts, a little bit of layering, adding in a few little pearls and a tag or two, and the card's all done. So. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be using today. So I've got the Enjoy the Moment stamp set. This is one from the annual catalog. Actually, I think everything I'm using today is from the annual catalog, which is kind of unusual. Usually I have at least a handful of things from the holiday catalog, but today it is all from the annual catalog. Hey, Bree, thanks for hopping in today. I appreciate you being here. So this is the stamp set, and it's a good one. And again, it's got some good images for no matter what kind of cards, but I love the sentiments are good in this one. And I feel like, again, not that it's necessarily specifically masculine, but not quite as frilly as some of the sentiments are. So just a nice font on that can be used for anybody. So that is the main stamp set that we're using on the card front. And the tree die cuts actually come from the Majestic Mountain dies. This is actually, again, a die set from the current annual catalog, and it coordinates with the Mountain Air stamp set, which we actually aren't using today. So I just wanted the pretty tree dies from, and I guess I can't call them pretty and masculine all in one. I don't know if I can. Anyway, so I just wanted to use the tree dies for the card front. So that's where the two die cuts came from. Hey, Jean, thanks for hopping in. And hello to Barbara and to Sundays. I'm not sure who that is, from Michigan as well. And Penny is here as well. So thanks for hopping in. Again, those are the Majestic Mountain dies from the current annual catalog. On the inside of the card, I actually used one of my very favorite sentiments for any birthday card, and it's from the Happiest of Birthdays, so this is the sentiment that we're using. And again, this is from the current annual catalog. And the designer series paper is actually from the Tidings of Christmas 6x6 designer paper, which, it's got little trees on it, but not necessarily specific to Christmas. And then the background panel actually has little snowflakes on it and maybe stars, but I'm calling them snowflakes. So to me, it doesn't scream Christmas. It's just more of a general, kind of a neutral background on it. So did I stay up? Hey, Linda, thanks for hopping in, and Deborah as well. And did I stay up for the eclipse? No, I did not, because it was happening at like 3 or 4 in the morning my time, which is not a time that I'm typically awake. Maybe in the, if you're out on the other coast, perhaps you probably could have, but I did not. So the tags actually on the card front came from the TaylorMade tags. So again, I used just the littlest one here, and then these are they're kind of cool. They're the little I don't know, like reinforcers for the tag. And so you just it cuts a group of 3, and then you just stick it right over the top of the tag, and, all good. So again, these are the TaylorMade tags dies, and they're in the current annual catalog as well. And then the final thing from Austria. Oh, I may be coming to visit you, actually. I'm hoping. The next Stampin' Up! Event is in Vienna, and I'm actually really seriously considering going. I'd love to go. So tell me that the weather is beautiful in November in Austria, and I'll, it'll help me make my decision. And if it's not or if it is terrible weather in Austria in November, don't tell me that, because, I don't want to know. So I did use one of the stitched rectangle dies, and it's the 4th largest one. And again, just cut the 2 panels for the background from the designer series paper. Cut those with the stitched rectangle dies. So hey, Mary Kay, glad you're here as well. All right, a couple things before we get going. I do have a double running shoe reward point ordering bonus that runs through Monday. So if you place an order of $50 or greater with me between now and Monday, November 22nd, you are going to get double reward points from me. And then when you reach 8 reward points, you actually get a free $40 order of your choice from me. So if you don't know about my rewards, check it out on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. And go take a peek at it. And the details are all posted out on my blog today as well. One other thing I wanted to remind you about is Stampin' Up! Does have their Eden's Garden product suite, which is an early release from the upcoming mini catalog that everybody's able to buy right now. And again, the details are posted on my blog. So the stamp set and dies are going to be in the next mini catalog. The beautiful Ever Eden and Ever Eden specialty paper and Ever Eden cotton paper and the garden gems are actually only available while supplies last. And they're all beautiful, so you'll definitely want to get them all. They have the full collection available as well, so you can just purchase everything with one number. But again, if you want the papers, which I know you will, and the gems, make sure you get on ordering them so those don't sell out before you have an opportunity to get them. And just so you know, the Eden's Garden specialty paper is beautiful for Christmas cards. So perfect time of year. So, hey, Jeannie, I'm glad you're here as well. I'm glad you hopped in. So, all right, last thing I wanted to chat about is the Start With Savings. Stampin' Up! Has got an awesome promotion going on. You'll love it here in November. Oh, yay, it's going to be warm. Oh, okay. I'm good. Even if it's a little chilly, I can take it. I just want to make sure it's not like blizzardy snow, yucky weather. So I'm really, really hoping that it's going to work out for me to go. So I would love to visit. All right. So Stampin' Up! Has got a joining promotion going on right now. It's a really, really good deal for anybody who's not currently a demonstrator. You can join for $75 and you still get the $125 in product of your choice in the starter kit. You're going to get a free paper pumpkin kit. You're going to get a few business supplies, and everything's going to ship to you for free. So it's an awesome deal. After you join, then you actually get at least a 20% discount on all of your orders. So anything that you order as a demonstrator, you get a 20% discount on. There's no requirement to sell to anyone other than yourself. You can attend Stampin' Up! Events. So you could come to Austria with me next November. And you actually get to pre-order. The pre-order from the upcoming mini is starting on December 1st. So now is a perfect time to join. Get all your stuff, get a great deal on your starter kit, and then be able to pre-order from the upcoming mini on December 1st. So good deal. Again, the details are on my blog, and let me know if you have questions. I'd love to have you come and join the team. So, hello from snowy Canada. Yeah, hopefully you're safe and not in the mudslide part of Canada. That sounds like an awful mess up there. And goodness, I hope they get the roads back open again soon, because yikes, just a shipping nightmare. And with Christmas and everything coming, gosh, that's got to be terrible. So, all right, the card, I have started with a Sahara Sand card base, and I have it cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So just a standard size card front. I have a piece of the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper that I've cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5. So it should fit perfectly over the entire card front. And again, in my mind, when I look at that, the images on here, I'm going with that they're snowflakes and nothing Christmas related. To me, they look like snowflakes. So I think winter and winter cards when I see that. Now this side definitely looks Christmassy, but we're going to glue that down so nobody's going to know that it's there. All right, so we're sticking that to the card front with a little multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just lining it up here. Generally, I use the seal adhesive, which is like a tape runner type adhesive, unless I'm doing something like this where I'm trying to get it lined up and want to have a second to kind of wiggle things around and make sure that everything is straight before it's stuck down forever. I did go ahead and cut these ahead of time, a lot of aheads, and I used, again, the 4th largest of the stitched rectangle dies. And again, these are just panels of the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper, which is in the annual catalog. And I'm just going to stick them down to the card front, sort of at a little offset from each other. The back side of this one is actually one of my favorite. Sorry, my seal is not wanting to start here. There we go. Okay. So I love the stripes in this one, and it's Cherry Cobbler is the red color in this particular Designer Series paper. But I love the trees more, and I thought that was more appropriate for a birthday card than the red stripes. Although red stripes are good too. So, and I'm just sort of sticking it at an offset angle. And yes, it is slid a little bit over to the side of the card because I'm going to put the trees on here, and I didn't want the whole piece of designer paper covered up with the trees. Oh, you're in Alberta and 15 inches of snow? Oh my, that does not sound like very much fun. There was actually a little bit of talk that we may get some snow generally in our area. Thankfully, it didn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. Ugh, I'm not ready for snow. I know it's almost Thanksgiving, but I'm still not ready for snow. So, all right. This is, again, is another piece of the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper, and just used a little Stampin' Seal to adhere it the other way on the card front. Next up, I did a little bit of die cutting again ahead of time with the Majestic Mountain dies, and I used, oh, I thought I would get a hold of it, there we go. Used the little tree dies here from that die set, and used them to cut, oh, no school for the kids. Of course, they're always happy, you know, and everybody's stuck at home. And actually, I don't necessarily mind a snow day. It's just like the snow weeks afterwards where the snow is not nearly as pretty and white anymore, and you're still out in it. That's when I don't like the snow very well. Watching it snow and having a snow day is definitely fun and nice, but not so much for the, you know, being stuck with the snow and the cold weather afterwards. So, all right, so again, I had done die cutting ahead of time. This is Evening Evergreen. The lighter shade of green is Soft Succulent, and the little light brown one is actually Sahara Sand. And I'm just using little dabs of the multi-purpose liquid glue and trying not to get too heavy-handed with it. And I'm going to stick these to the card front. Hopefully, there we go. All right, and I sort of had them offset the darker green ones up a little bit higher, and then the lighter green, the soft succulent one, is a little bit lower and over to the left, and then my Sahara Sand, actually I'm going to go with the Sahara Sand one second. That one is just a little bit offset to the right and a little bit lower. So again, just going to do the same thing, putting little dabs of multi-purpose liquid glue on the tree, and trying to keep it on the screen without actually gluing it to the card and making a goof there. All right. If I had thought ahead, which I don't know why I always think of it when I'm sitting here putting the dabs of glue on it, the multi-purpose or the adhesive sheets would be perfect for these trees because they're little kind of intricate die cuts. The multi-purpose liquid glue does work. It's just a little messier and maybe a little more fiddly, but it, like I said, either one works. But the adhesive sheets are kind of nice because then it sticks down the entire thing and there's no messing around with the glue and that sort of thing. So I'm glad that you're liking a nice quick card. That's kind of how most of my cards are. I don't tend to, you know, the layered up ones are always beautiful and fun to do occasionally. But for the most part, I find that when I'm making a card, I want it to be something quick and cute and easy and still look pretty. And that's sort of my, you know, my goal with cards. And those are the ones I like to share with you guys, is the ones that you can put together in just a couple minutes without having to spend your whole day creating and designing a card. Not that I mind doing that, but you know, usually most of us have a lot of things going on in a day. And so it's nice to have one that you can put together quickly and still be happy with the result. So, all right, so here is the soft succulent die cut. And again, I'm just holding that over the top for a second to make sure that the glue takes hold. Or again, like I said, if you were smarter than I was and thinking ahead, you could definitely use the adhesive sheets and then you wouldn't have to sit here and hold it and get glue all over your fingers. All right. Next up, again, I did a little pre-cutting ahead of time. This is from the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper, and I used the smallest tag from the TaylorMade tags. Beautiful, sunny and 66 where Linda is. Okay, I'm a little jealous because it's like 35 and windy here. So not nearly so pretty. So I used the little tag here from the TaylorMade tags dies, and I cut, again, this is a piece of the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper. And I'm going to do a little stamping here, you know, massive stamping of one image on the whole card front. And I've got Evening Evergreen ink. And I'm going to be stamping it on basic white cardstock. Let me see. I want to make sure this is going to fit on here. Yep, it'll fit on there fairly easily. All right. Hopefully I don't mess up the placement on it. Okay. All of a sudden I looked at that and I thought, you know, that paper looks a little small. I thought I had checked it, but maybe I didn't, and I think I did. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and die cut this. My die cutting machine is off to my right-hand side here a little bit. I don't need to go way off center with this, but I'm going to go a little bit off center just because I've got the little reinforcement piece that I'm going to be sticking here on the top of it. So that's going to take up a little bit of space on the die cut, but not too much. So just going to run this through my die cutting machine. So I'll be off the screen to the right for just a second. Yeah, we got a ton of snow here in New Jersey last winter, and I mean, at one point, I think the highest amount of snow we got in one day was 3 feet. That's a lot of snow. And it took a really long time to melt, too. Yeah, And like I said, I don't necessarily mind looking at the snow when I'm inside and nice and warm, but I don't like having to go out in it. So, all right, so ahead of time again with the TaylorMade tags die, I cut the little reinforcement piece out of Evening Evergreen cardstock, and I'm just gonna use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. These aren't terribly confusing to figure out, but it's got a rounded side and a flat side, and the flat side is obviously going to go to the top because the die cut is flat on the top. So when you're looking at it, just don't be confused. That's how it goes on. So, all right, gonna put a little bit of liquid glue here on the top and the bottom of this, and try not to put it right along the edges so that I can still pick it up and not end up with glue all over my fingers, hopefully anyway. Oh, maybe, there we go. And then I'm just going to place it over the top of the tag here. And again, the liquid glue, you can use the adhesive sheets on this as well. That'd be an easy one to do, but liquid glue does give you a little bit of wiggle time to make sure that you've got it lined up correctly over the opening in your tag. So pretty easy to do. All right, and then I'm going to take a little bit of, there's my Stampin' Seal, and we are going to adhere these two tags together. It doesn't need to be a whole bunch, and you can use glue dots if you would prefer on this type of a thing. You just basically want them stuck together so that it's easier to pull the linen thread through the opening on the tag, and easier to keep them together when you're sticking them on the card front. All right, so linen thread is next up, and I'm just going to use a little piece of it. You can always trim it down. It's very difficult to add anything to it, so I usually try to start with a piece that's a little oversized from what I really need, and then just like I said, you can always trim it down in the end if you feel like the ends are too long. So I've got it folded in half, sliding the looped end through the opening, and then I'm going to take my loose ends and tuck them through the little loop here, and then just pull it into sort of a knot. I think I don't know, I'm sure there's probably a specific word for it, but I'll just call it a little knot here on the edge of my tag. And then I've got a couple Stampin' dimensionals. Oh, cool. I'm glad you like the card, Gina. It's like I said, it's pretty easy to do, and one of those that I feel like can be given to anybody. So that's one nice thing is that, sometimes if it's all florally and whatever, then we feel a little odd giving it to the gentleman in our lives. But this one I feel like could go to anybody. So, all right. So I'm going to take the birthday the tags here and stick that right over the top of the card. And these are definitely way too long, so I'm going to trim down here a little bit. But again, like I said, you can always trim them off. It's really hard to add to them. So, all right. Next up, I've got some metallic pearls, and they come with silver and gold in the same pack. And I have used gold on my project. I started actually intended to use silver, but I felt like the gold stood out a little bit more without being too much. So if you prefer the silver, you definitely can use those as well. And I'm just kind of placing these around here on the tree die cuts. And whoop, that one's flipped over the wrong way. Let me grab my snips and flip it back over. Stay, you silly little thing. There we go. All right. And then I'm just going to smoosh them down onto the card front once they're in a spot where I like them. And that's going to be it for the card front. So super simple. And like I said, hopefully it's, a good card for almost anybody that's got a winter birthday. So I love the colors in this designer paper, and felt like it definitely has a Christmas hint to it, but it's definitely not completely Christmas. So that's what I like about the designer paper is usually there's one side that's pretty holiday specific, and then the other side of it usually you can use a little more generally. All right, for the inside of the card, use card. Oh, okay, so yeah, the little tag dies are actually definitely some good ones. So hopefully you picked them up while they were on sale this week. I don't know. So, all right, we've got Evening Evergreen ink. And again, this is the sentiment from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. And I'm just checking to make sure that I've got it all inked, which looks like I finally do. And again, I've got basic white cardstock, and I'm going to try to get it stamped on here straight. With the stamps that you can't see through, it's a little bit more difficult, but get it close enough. If you don't like it, you can always flip it over and stamp it on the other side, but I think that looks reasonably straight. At least it does through the camera to me, so I'm assuming that it is, and we're going to go with it. So again, that was the Evening Evergreen ink, and the sentiment is from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. And then this is just a little piece that I had trimmed off when I cut down the paper for the card front. This is about 5/8 of an inch wide, and it's definitely longer than what I need it to be. I think it's actually the full 6 inches, so I usually do that just because it makes it a little easier for me to maneuver these on a panel of cardstock. I can kind of stick one end down a little bit and then use the other end as a little bit of a lever to make sure that I get it on fairly straight. And which I think we did this time. And you can always, again, it's always easier to have things bigger, and you can just snip it down or use your paper trimmer and trim it down. And I'm going to use, again, a little Stampin' Seal to adhere this to the inside of the card. Oh, hey, Roxanne, I guess I hadn't, there you are. I was going to say, I didn't see you pop on, but yep, you're right there in the middle of the comments. I see you now, so I'm glad you were able to join today. All right, so this, again, the inside of the card is Sahara Sand card base. Just going to stick it down with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, fold close the card, and do a quick crease on it with the bone folder. And we're going to be all done. So that is it for the card today. So this is the one I made ahead of time, the sample card. This is the one we made here today while we were live. So hopefully you like the design. Hopefully you love the die sets and the designer series paper. Again, if you're looking for a good paper that is both Christmas and can be used for general cards, the Tidings of Christmas designer series paper is a 6x6 pack in the annual catalog, and it's awesome. Makes good birthday cards too, so it doesn't have to be Christmas. So all right, so thanks so much for joining today. I will plan to be live on my Facebook page around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday. And then next week, with it being the holiday, I may not hop on to YouTube. If I decide to hop on and share a video, I'll let you know, but my sister's going to be in town, and so I probably won't. We'll probably be hanging out and doing a little shopping. So, all right. So have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday if you're celebrating next week, and I will chat with you all soon. Oh, the details are going to be posted on the blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. So, and I'll link them up here in the video description as well, so you'll be able to see all the details for the project and find links to purchase any of these products that you might be interested in as well. So thanks again for joining, and we will chat soon.